NXT No Mercy was last Sunday, and it was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot better than I thought it was gonna be after seeing the card. It wasn't the best NXT event we've had this year. Heatwave was by far the best NXT event we've probably seen in the last few years, but this was still good. I'd still go back and rewatch it. I did watch it 3 times, just like I did with Bash in Berlin, and there were some really, really, really good matches, and two that were just kind of okay. They were good, but could have also just been on a regular Tuesday night. So let's get into it. As always, starting with the lowest rated match and moving on up. Kalani Jordan and Wendy Chu for the North American Women's Championship. Now, it was okay. Uh, Kalani Jordan's still very young, still very fresh in her career, and I think she has an extremely, extremely high ceiling. And Wendy Chu is also great. I just didn't quite understand why they were facing off. I think you could put this title into a storyline, and they haven't quite done that yet. They sort of did at the beginning, and it just kind of died. But I think some of the stuff they're doing with Wendy Chu is interesting and compelling, but this just wasn't it. And Kalani Jordan has a lot of time left to give us great matches with this title. I mean, just look at the NXT Men's North American Championship, and I prefer those matches even outside of Obafemi holding it to the NXT Championship. It's just my personal preference. But this is a new title. She is still very young, still very, I wouldn't say green. She's doing a great job. But I think she needs to spend a little bit more time figuring herself out, which is something that will happen over time. She's got an incredibly high ceiling. They both do. This match just wasn't quite it for me. So I gave it a 72 out of 100, leaving it with a 3.6 star rating. I might not go back and watch it anytime soon, but it was okay. I just think that could have been on a Tuesday night. As a Tuesday night main event, I think that might have hit a lot harder than the PLE. Just in my honest opinion. Now, next up is Zachary Wentz and Wes Lee. This one, I don't think I was very invested in the story to begin with. I wasn't around during the Rascals days watching NXT. So maybe I just don't get the feeling that some other fans might get. I just now recently started getting into NXT about the last 6 months. So my opinion might be very skewed, and I could be very wrong on this, and I'm willing to admit early that I could be very wrong on this. But I just wasn't quite for me. Also, knowing what Wes Lee can do and seeing highlights of Zachary Wentz, I expected just a tad more. It was great. I can't lie, I enjoyed it. But I also was wondering why we're doing this now. This could have been, you could have spent more time on the feud and built it up to, stand and deliver WrestleMania weekend. That would have been huge. I just think they didn't spend a lot of time on the story and building this match. It was just kind of it was very fast. It was moving a little too fast for me to watch this match and be compelled for either side. So I gave it a 78, so 3.9. It's right outside of the 4-star range, which was a great match, but I also a lot of times will look at the story behind the match and let it influence my ratings. And this one, I think the story diminished the rating a little bit on. Now, next up is Ethan Page defeated Joe Hendry for the NXT Championship. I personally love the TNA partnership. I think it's fantastic. And seeing Joe Hendry is awesome, especially challenging for the NXT Championship. They both really know how to work a crowd, but are not the best in-ring wrestlers NXT has. That's just a bona fide fact. The crowd work is incredible from both of them. And Trick Williams being the special guest referee is also adds an extra layer of what's going to happen. And I think they did a really, really good job of telling a story in a single match that we probably won't see again. Probably be going NXT Championship for Ethan Page and Trick Williams very soon. But throwing Joe Hendry in there just for a one-off with a very short story, and it's meant to be short, was great. I think this was good. It was very, very good. I gave it an 81, which is a 4.05. So just inside the cusp of a 4. I would watch this again, but it wouldn't be my first choice. There are definitely other matches on this card that I would watch 3 times more than this one. But still good. Next up is Axiom and Nathan Frazier, otherwise known as Fraxium, and Chase U for the NXT Tag Team titles. I was surprised by this match. I knew it was going to be good because I think Andre Chase is an underrated wrestler. I think he's fantastic in the ring, and it gets overshadowed by an even greater gimmick that I've enjoyed watching. And Ridge Holland wrestles in the style that I really like, just a tough big dude. So I was very excited for this, but I was not ready for the end. I expected we see a Fraxium breakup long before we saw the Chase U breakup there. But not even really Chase U breakup, just Ridge Holland turning on Chase U. We watched as he spent numerous weeks working hard to get in the good graces of Chase U to throw it all away as soon as they lost the gold. Which is a very interesting choice. But honestly, I'm here for it. I enjoyed that. It got me out of my seat and made me think, why are we doing this? And not in like a bad, like, why are we doing this? Like, why would you do this? Why? So, in all, great match, great storytelling. And I can't wait to see, the fallout from Chase U. And I look forward to seeing Fraxium just doing what they do. I gave it an 86 out of 100, which leaves it at a 4.3. Great match. Would watch again. Second to last is Obafemi defeating Tony D'Angelo for the NXT Men's North American Championship. First off, these two are my favorite wrestlers in NXT right now, bar none. They so fun to watch in the ring. I love the family dynamic. It's so interesting, and there have been, mafia esque stories and factions before, but I don't think any of them have been done as well as the family has. I really look forward to watching them on the main roster and getting up there and running the show at some point. I think they have the potential to do that. I'm a big faction guy. I love factions, and this is one of my favorite ones in WWE right now. And Obafemi is just a monster. He's so good in the ring. Being as young as he is, he has an internally high ceiling. He will be Universal Champ at some point. This match was great. I would love to see them go again and again and again. I will watch this one again. I gave it a 91, which is a 4.55. They did fantastic. I can't speak highly enough about both of them just because both of them are also some of my favorites in NXT. But what a match. We'll watch again. Hopefully see them wrestle again soon. Now, the top match of the night is Roxanne Perez defeated Jada Parker for the NXT Women's Championship. I was surprised by how well Jada Parker did in this match. I'm not saying that I've watched her be bad. I just don't think she's been given the time to cook like this before, and she delivered. It was fantastic. We know Roxanne Perez is great and has all the potential in the world. But seeing Jada Parker, who's still fresh, still new, go out and deliver a performance like that is awesome. It's so refreshing to see a new face be able to show up and do as well as that on such a big stage. I can't wait to see how their careers turn out because they're both very young. They both have a lot of time. I think by the next year we'll see Roxanne Perez in the main roster. And I think Jada Parker is a very strong contender for that NXT Women's Championship. Not too far down the line. WWE just recently signed Julia and a couple other big name women wrestlers from the independents in Japan and Mexico. So I don't know how this is going to turn out, but the NXT women's division is going to be stacked. And Jada Parker is making a name for herself early and standing out with this, even in a loss. So I gave this match a 93, which is a 4.65. Great match. Honestly, I think this should have been the main event. But I do understand why Joe Hendry and Ethan Page was. I 100% will watch this again. Maybe even after I finish recording this video, we'll watch it again. But if you haven't seen it, go watch it. And that's it for NXT No Mercy. Great event. Wasn't their best, but it was good. NXT has been cooking recently, and I am here for it. I love what they're doing down there. I have enjoyed every episode that I've watched. There hasn't been a single just episode. So I will be doing more NXT content in the future. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.